Hey everybody, welcome to some nutrition top tips from me, Ben Ogden. I'm here in Seefeld, Austria. I just finished up the Tour de Ski. Thought it would be a good time to talk to you guys a little bit about my nutrition and fueling habits while racing during the season, because the Tour de Ski is like the most important time during the year to be on your fueling game hard. So I'm just coming off that, and I want to bring you guys through how I like to stay fueled for interval workouts, and then after this, we'll talk a little bit about racing, but they have a lot of similarities. But today, I have a little 45-minute threshold session, and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm staying fueled to keep these intervals as high quality as possible. I always have a little something queued up for before I get going on the intervals. It's a nice way to get a little energy boost. So today I have salted cinnamon spice UnTapped, although really any of the UnTapped gels will suffice. If it's summertime, I always try and get one that has some sodium like this, 100 milligrams of sodium, but it's not quite as crucial in the winter because I don't sweat as much here. So little boost of carbs right before I get going, and then we'll get right into it. All right, people, welcome to interval session in Seefeld. I'm now halfway done, and I'm feeling like I need a boost. Back into the bag of tricks, my phone warmer, not that. This time, what are we gonna have? Oh yeah, this is the ultimate mid-interval pre-race boost. UnTapped coffee infused maple syrup with a little bit of caffeine, 27 milligrams, and obviously maple syrup, carbohydrates, all the good stuff. Down the hatch it goes. All right, one interval to go. Time to dive into the reserves, get a final boost of energy to get me through this session. Salted cinnamon spice. Go time. I'm back from intervals now, enjoying the beautiful afternoon sun here in Austria, working on my knitting project, all part of a quality rest and recovery session. But more importantly, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my race day fueling and how that differs from the interval fueling that we just discussed. On race day, I like to sort of get my carbs and get my fueling in a wider window surrounding the high intensity. So if you have the race, I like to start with like 30 to 40 minutes beforehand. I always try and have something that is high in carbs with a little bit of caffeine. Obviously, my favorite is the UnTapped coffee maple gel. It's very good, easy on the stomach. It has 27 milligrams of caffeine in it, so sometimes I'll even have 2 for a longer distance race. And then it's a really quality hit of carbs and a little bit of caffeine just to get you like really fired up for that last little bit before the race. And then as we get a little bit closer to the race, I'll finish out my warm-up and I'll go and put my race suit on and get all set. And right before I start, I like to try and get another hit of carbs. For me, especially if it's a 20K or longer, for me, this is a really essential time. So like maybe 5 or 10 minutes before I start, depending on how nervous I am and how far before my start I want to be completely ready, I'll have another UnTapped maple, pure maple. I always like to have pure maple there. It's almost like a little superstition, but yeah, pure maple 5 minutes before the start of the race, especially if it's 20K or more, because then it's almost like a feed, but you don't have to worry about doing it in the race. It's kind of like a pre-race feed. So that can be really helpful for just like getting through the race with really high energy and never feeling that like depleted sensation. And then as I get over with the race, I try and like finish, catch my breath, put my jacket on and just sort of like assess how everything went. But in the time between the end of the race and the cool down, I always try and have a maple waffle queued up and ready to go, because it feels really good to get some food with some actual substance in it, like something that you have to chew. I always think like chewing versus not chewing is kind of a difference. So after the race, I like to get something that I need to chew, like a waffle, get that down the hatch within 10 or 15 minutes of the finish. And then I go out on my cool down. And on my cool down lately, I've been having a goal where whatever's left in my water belt, I have to finish on the cool down. So if it's like 15 minutes, I always try and have some UnTapped lime mapleade in my water belt. That's my favorite of the drink mixes. So I have some lime mapleade in there. Usually I don't drink a ton during my warm-up, so I'll have like at least a half a water belt left, and I try and finish all that during the cool down. And can sometimes be uncomfortable. It could sometimes feel like you're overloading your stomach, but it always ends up being fine. You give it like 10 minutes and then you're, okay, I'm feeling much better. And this strategy for me is just helpful because it means that if I do a hard race, even if it's like right in the middle of the day, right over lunch or something, I can get to lunch whenever it's convenient and I'm not like crazy hungry and like ravenous, I feel like that's a feeling you want to try and avoid at all costs, especially during a time where you're trying to focus on nutrition, like for us during the Tour de Ski. You never want to be like so hungry it feels like a problem because that's when you are starting to become depleted, and it's really hard to build back up to the levels that you need energy-wise once that happens. So those are my racing top tips. I hope you all enjoyed, and please feel free to comment or message me or whatever with any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. But for the meantime, we'll see you all out on the trails or in the sun or on the knitting project.